Hello and welcome to another Clubs and Corks Golf podcast. It's a great day for me. Luke Taylor here. I finally got rid of Ben Curtis. This has been my whole ploy all along. I was hoping this would be a Canadian eccentric golf podcast, and I replaced him with someone who's won twice as many tournaments as he has.
Sweet. I love it. Hey, I can just listen to you guys talk if you don't mind. It'd be like I'm listening to the podcast.
No, I'm not cheating on you. I would never cheat on you. This is very difficult. So we've got a weird situation. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that to you in person. So we got Ben Curtis on the phone. We got Mike Weir with us. And this is a great honor. I got two major champions.
Yeah.
You could have actually almost gone to the same college if the coach actually given you a scholarship.
That's true.
Right.
That's a true story.
That is. We're going to talk about that.
Okay, good.
But we got a legend. He is to like what Celine Dion is to music. Anne Murray, Gordon Lightfoot, Bryan Adams, Alanis Morissette.
Bringing them all out.
Who is the Snow? What about Snow and Former?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
A licky boom boom, yeah.
Yeah.
So we got Ben Curtis, Luke Taylor here with the legend, another Canadian person on the golf podcast, Mike Weir. Mike Weir, welcome to the Clubs and Corks Golf Podcast.
Honored for sure to be here.
That's what they all say.
Did you just name everybody in Canada there, Luke? Or?
All the great artists.
I'm trying to figure it out.
You know who
hit Corey Hart?
I didn't say Corey Hart. I did not also say Neil Young.
No.
I didn't say the Bare Naked Ladies, and I also didn't say Bob Vokey.
It's true.
Oh, hey, quick fact. The last concert I saw was Bare Naked Ladies.
Yeah. Mine too.
How ironic to say.
With Darius Rucker.
The last.
You were there
concert,
too?
Really?
Yeah. At Blossom. Melissa
Blossom.
Melissa dragged me there, and we had to sit on the frickin' lawn. And I'm a big boy, man. There wasn't a lot of lawn for me.
Awesome.
Shut up. You know, I saw Bare Naked Ladies in Hamilton.
Okay.
And one of my good friends growing up, his girlfriend at the time was family, best friends with the Page family. So I've met Stephen Page. I actually told his father, Mr. Page, that he was flying low. His zipper was open. Yeah, I'm Canadian. Come on, we're Canadian. We're pleasant.
Yeah. I saw the ladies at the 2002 Salt Lake Olympics. So Canada had the Canada House, and that was when Roots was really big. Everybody was wearing their Roots gear around Salt Lake City, and the ladies played in the plaza there, where it was kind of like everybody kind of gathered at night to watch the medal ceremonies, and they were big back then.
Yeah, they still are.
Yeah,
they still are.
Yeah.
So Ben, we got a Masters champion, and we got a British Open champion. I am not a PGA champion or US. Yeah, same year.
Yep.
You dominated that year too. You didn't.
I had a good year that year.
Yeah, you didn't do as well as the British Open, but that's okay.
No, I didn't. I kind of folded. When Ben, stepped on the gas on Sunday.
You didn't fold. Thomas Bjorn folded.
Yeah, I was a little out of the mix. I was somewhere around the top 15, but I wasn't right in the mix. Yeah,
tied for third at the U.S. Open, tied for seventh at the PGA Championship. Decent. You did well at PGA Championship that year, didn't you, Ben?
No, okay. I played with Mike the first 2 days. Me, him, and Furyk played.
Yep.
I was just still trying to get out of my own way at that point. But Mike, obviously, that didn't you make every cut that year? And
I think I did. Yeah, I don't think I missed a cut that year. I played. Yeah, it was a solid year. It was a good year.
Yeah. And people don't realize how hard that is, right? I mean, you think about probably, all the tournaments you played and stuff, how many you missed by one and how many you made on the number.
Totally.
It's amazing how one shot could go here or there, but how difficult that to be that focused and that.
Yeah.
I mean, kudos to you, but it's one of those feats that I always try to strike. Was just like, hey, make more cuts than I miss, and then I'm going to do okay, right? Because eventually you're going to get hot. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
there
for a long time you did so well. It was it was fun to watch and be a part of, and So tell us a little bit. Like we didn't really prep you on this, so or anything.
Hell no.
We're going to add, but just tell us like how. I mean, I know Herb with Kent State had a chance to grab you. Didn't make the offer, but how did you end up at BYU?
Well, yeah, to go back to that story, it was we were at, Herb recruited up in Ontario, as you know, and he was actually kind of after Brennan, who Ben, who caddied for me a lot of years, Brennan Little, and And Brennan was a very good junior player, big, strong kid, hit a long way, and I was 110 pounds and couldn't hit it very far in high school. And and he came up, and when he was watching the junior tournaments, he was really had his eye on Brennan and a few other guys. And I mean, to Herb's, not to knock him, I wasn't really that good then. I wasn't until my junior and senior year of high school I started getting a little better. But he was up there recruiting when all of us guys were 14 and 15, and I just wasn't that good. And so he had his eye on some other guys. And I had always been writing letters to a number of different colleges in the U.S., and Carl Tucker at BYU was one of the coaches that responded to me. And he was another guy kind of like Herb that recruited internationally, and a lot of Canadian guys, mostly West Coast guys from BC, like Richard Zokel and a guy named Brent Franklin, Rick Gibson, and Jim Nelford. So they all went to BYU, so there was a little pipeline there of Canadians. And I kept my eye on BYU my last couple of years of high school, and they had a good program, and went out for a visit and kind of fell in love with the West, fell in love with the mountains, and him, he's kind of like Herb, Herb has a great personality, and so did Carl. He's like your second dad when you're away from home, and that's kind of what sold me on BYU was more him. Well, the program too, but more him.
Mm-hmm.
Because I find that interesting because with Liam playing junior golf now, you're starting to think about that stuff. But I always find it interesting, like what makes you choose a school? Is it the school, or is it the coach and players? What I'm finding, or it's more about the relationship, and it's more about the players and the coaches that are involved.
Unless you go to the SEC, right?
Well, I'm not going there.
Was that you? Didn't you go?
No.
Didn't you go to Arkansas?
The D2, D2 school in Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
They couldn't pay me enough. Oh, did I say it out loud? Did you know it? I mean, Sarnia, Ontario.
Yeah,
it's a nice place.
Yeah,
right.
Sure, it's great.
Sure.
It's great right on the lake.
Yeah, it's great on the lake.
Yep.
What was that like going from Sarnia, Ontario, to Brigham Young University, which is Mormon based, right?
Yeah, it was.
And I don't know. Is there any Mormons in Canada?
There's a few. Alberta, a lot in Alberta. Apparently
Really?
is the hub.
Didn't know that. Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, it was kind of one of these things. I didn't know much about the religion. I mean, I was blown away with the the landscape of Utah, and I love, like I said, the coach and the school was beautiful, and I was like, wow, this is a cool place. And I really didn't know much. I knew nothing about the religion, so I didn't think much of it until I got there my freshman year and knew that they took some of the rules pretty seriously.
Yeah.
Like I thought,
could you drink?
No, you couldn't drink. You know, they had no caffeinated drinks on campus. You couldn't find a Coke or Pepsi or Sprite. And
but you can have like 3 or 4 wives, right?
That's yeah. I think back in the day you could. Yeah. That's
not anymore.
Not anymore. Oh. It's outlawed now.
Guess I'm not going to BYU.
Right. But just little things they were sticklers for, a little bit of facial hair. Like we were playing intramural flag football, and if you had some facial hair, you had to run back to your dorm room and shave and things like that. It was just little things that were tedious, but at the end of the day, it was a great school. And
you understand it, right?
Yeah, I think once I got there, and I was like, okay. And luckily enough, I was pretty focused. I mean, I wasn't there to goof off. I wanted to play professional golf, and I knew that being around Carl and, the guys, Johnny Miller went there, a bunch of really good players went to BYU. I was like, well, this is a good place to go if you want to be a professional golfer. So I was pretty focused. If I was goofing off, that wouldn't have been the school to go to, for sure. I would have probably transferred out of there and gone to ASU or something.
Yeah.
And,
wow.
So.
Hint.
Yeah, isn't that like the big party school? So it worked well for me. And as you know, growing up Canadian, I had plenty of beer in high school, so I wasn't like I was
Speak for yourself.
hadn't missed my fill in college. I'd probably already been over my quota as an 18-year-old going to college. So,
hey Ben, how long you think I would have lasted at BYU?
Not very long.
Yeah, 5
minutes.
Yeah.
So is that, Mike? I know obviously everybody in Canada played hockey or has a love of hockey. Did you like ski? Is that where you picked up the love of skiing and that thing?
Well, yeah, I didn't.
When you went there, or did you do it before?
A little bit before, but not too much in Ontario. Yeah. I mean, we had a couple school trips to Quebec, Mount St. Anne.
Blue Mountain.
Blue Mountain.
Yeah, Blue Mountain.
Yeah,
See, there you go.
there a couple times. If you can call it a mountain.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
We're in Ohio right now,
Yeah,
so it's a mountain.
Yeah, it's a mountain. So not much. I'd probably skied 6 times in my life before I went before I went to BYU. And then Carl, our coach, actually was a ski. He taught, one of his things was he taught PE at BYU, so skiing. He taught skiing. So he encouraged us to ski, actually, which is interesting for a golf coach to have all his guys come up. We had a guy from Colombia, a guy from Ecuador. My roommate was from the Philippines. They had never even seen snow, let alone get up and ski. So it was quite funny to get these guys up on a ski hill. And coach didn't, he wasn't too happy if we went a little bit crazy and we're trying some jumps or anything like that. But he wanted us to get up and ski.
Can you imagine Herb letting you guys ski?
Oh no! I mean, so it's probably one of those things you can ski, but as long as it's not in season. But as you know, you're always in season when you're in college, right?
Yeah, totally. You're one turn away from bad things. But have
you ever had I'm gonna knock on wood, but have you ever had an accident skiing or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple falls where I've tweaked things, but I haven't, nothing that.
Major.
Major that's knock on wood that's set me back. Not like
that's plastic. Here's what
plastic. Yeah, there we go. Like Mickelson,
Yeah.
I think he broke a leg, didn't he?
He
like
did.
right out of college. Like he was pretty early 20s. He broke his leg. I know I think Calc broke a foot or something skiing early in his career. So I mean, it can happen.
Yeah.
But I still love it.
Yeah. We got the hottest player right now on the senior tour.
Yeah.
Do you know
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty good last little month.
Do you think you would win more if you only played 36 holes instead of 72? Because you won a tournament with just 2 rounds, right? 36 holes?
I did, yeah.
That's good. I'm not taking away from you, but I'm just saying.
It was 36.
Yeah.
But it wasn't 36 and the last round got rained out. It was like we knew it was 36 and we had to it was a sprint to the finish. Like it wasn't like we teed off knowing that this was the last round.
Wow. Okay.
So, anyhow.
Ben, you would have done better if you only had to play 36 holes.
I might, yeah, but I also probably would not have won a couple tournaments, right?
Yeah.
True. True.
Because I didn't win until Sunday, right? Or didn't have the lead until Sunday.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
54 is nice. I got to tell you, going from all the years of playing 72-hole events. Now this is a 72-hole event here, but like. To show up like some weeks on Wednesday and play the Pro-Am Thursday and tee off, it's pretty nice. Mm-hmm. If you decide to go that route, Ben, when you hit the number in a bunch of years.
I'm trying. He won't do it. I'm trying.
He's out?
No, he just doesn't want to.
You don't want to?
Hey, everybody's asking. But
whoa, you didn't answer it. Time out.
I got 6 years.
6 years.
I got 6 years.
I got 6 years to work on it.
Question here.
Yeah.
I got 6 years.
You got 6 years, but 6 years before I stopped playing, I would have probably told you I would never stop playing. So you just never know. And for me, I'll be kind of in your situation, Mike. Like the kids will be past high school, and going on to college at that point. So you never know. But I hear all these rumors that keep trying to change the criteria. So I may not even be eligible by that point. But so what's been the turnaround for you, Mike? I know you struggled for a few years and that, but now you're having some huge success on the Champions Tour. What's been the turnaround for you?
A few things. I kind of researched a bunch of different coaches, tried a few guys, and kind of once I started working with this guy, Mark Blackburn out of Alabama, English guy out of Alabama, things just started clicking. I think the way he was conveying things to me, I understood it. And then I put the work in, and I think my motivation was still there because I felt like my 40s were such a struggle, and I didn't want to kind of go out like that the way I was playing, and some injuries and then just poor play. So once I got closer to 50, I was very motivated because I was like, my 40s sucked basically, and I didn't have much fun.
Amen to that, body.
50, you kind of get out there, and I think there was a mindset shift, and then the seeing progress with my coach, with Mark, even though I was not making a lot of cuts on the PGA Tour and on Korn Ferry Tour, I was playing pretty good. Like I felt like I was making headway. I mean, 2019, I missed the cut by, we were talking earlier about missing cuts by one shot. I missed the cut by one shot, I think, 9 or 10 times between the PGA Tour and Corn Ferry Tour. And as frustrating that was, I was like, man, if I could have made a few putts, I would have been right in contention, let alone miss a cut. Right. So I saw signs early, so I just kind of kept my head down and kept working and tried to keep a good attitude about it. I think, the combo of all that.
Did you take any time off, or was it just kind of like you just found the right mark? And I've known Mark. I mean, I don't know him real well, but remember he was with Heath Slocum for a long time, and we played a little bit together in practice rounds, so got to talking to him a little bit. And I love, it keeps it simple, which I think is, at least from what I've gathered with him. But did you take any time off, or did it just like, hey, I'm going to take 2 months off or 3 months off, just kind of walk away, or was it one of those things like you just kept grinding and fought through it?
There were some times where I had to take time off. I had time with my elbow injury where I was off for quite a while, 7-8 months with that. I had some back, and then when I came back, I started having some back issues, maybe because I was off. I don't know why, but I started having back issues where I was off for a few weeks here and there, so there was some built-in time off. Maybe a little bit of reflection on those times where I was like, well, when you step away, you have a chance to take a look and say, hey, maybe I'm not going down the right path. Maybe I need to take a look at something different, and that kind of led me to Mark, I think, kind of in my mid-40s there where I was struggling physically a little bit. So that probably was helpful. I don't know with my mindset if I would have taken time off, but I'm sure glad that I was kind of forced to, because it helped me reassess things a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's been good. I love it out here on PGA Tour Champions. I have no desire to play on the PGA Tour anymore with the way the game is.
Why not?
Yeah,
you don't want to hit the ball 3,000 yards?
Yeah, exactly. 5'9", 150 pounds doesn't really translate well unless you're McIlroy, who just has, for a smaller guy, can hit it crazy far. As long as young guys. Justin Thomas isn't very big. He hits it a mile. So, no, I'm quite happy to play the Masters, maybe the Canadian Open, because of the courses we play the Canadian Open on aren't, they're more precision courses. Glen Abbey's and St. George's and Hamilton, you don't have to be very long.
Well, if Glen Abbey's still there.
Yeah, that might be gone in a few years.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Where's it? Are they playing it this year?
It's 2 years in a row now.
It was the one in
St. George's.
No, but the event, the PGA Tour event, was the one in. It just happened in South Carolina.
You're right. I forget the name of that course.
Oh, that was the
Brooks play. Ricky and Brooks were down there.
That lefty from South Africa won. Higo.
What was that place called? Not the
Palmetto something.
Palmetto Classic.
Palmetto Classic.
I think that's what it was. Yeah, but it'll be back next year at St. George's, right?
St. George's next year. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So they've been waiting now. This will be the third year they're waiting to host the event there.
We're a little bit different back in Canada.
Well, those crowds are going to be crazy.
Oh yeah, they'll be fired up.
And they've done a really good job. I know Ben and I've talked about it, and probably went in your height of your career playing in it. Now it's just they've got the penalty box, I think, and they've really, a lot of events here too.
Yeah.
With all the music and everything, they've really done a good job to really captivate.
Yeah.
Golf. You really help. I will say, because I'm a little bit younger than you. I'm older than Ben, younger than you, so I'm in the middle, I guess.
Yeah.
But you really put Canada. You really elevate, like what Tiger Woods did to the world. You did in Canada. Growing up in Canada, how old were you when you learned how to skate? I was 18 months old. How old were you?
Yeah, I was probably two. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 2 years old.
You play hockey.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you realize you don't really have hockey hair.
Right.
So you weren't going to make it. No offense.
Right. No.
Nor was I. But whatever. And, we had some good golfers. George Knudsen.
Yep.
Sandra Post.
So there you go.
Yeah, she's from Oakville.
Yeah.
Dave Barr.
Yep.
You know any of these names, Ben?
Some. But I'm just thinking of you two playing hockey. You guys' faces are too clean and your noses aren't crooked and
that's true.
Things like that. So
I don't have any teeth. These teeth are not from. They're not real. They're from.
I've got a couple fake. I've got a couple fake teeth.
The front ones. The front four got knocked out at about 13 years old.
Yeah, I've got one here that are fake.
Yeah.
That wasn't from hockey. That was an ex-girlfriend.
It's called cavities. Yeah.
No, it's things. So he is the only Canadian to win a major. I was pulling for Mackenzie Hughes.
Yeah.
Do you
Totally.
naturally pull for the Canadians?
Oh, absolutely.
You got to, right?
Yeah, I was totally pulling for them.
Even though a couple of them went to Kent State.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them went to Kent State.
I know.
Max a Kent Stater, right?
Yeah.
Well, Max,
And,
and Corey Connors
and
too.
Corey.
But
Yep.
I was thinking, Mike, I heard someone Sunday, was he the first in the U.S. Open or first Canadian in a major to hold the lead after 54 holes? Because where were you after 54 when you won?
I was tied. I think I was tied for the lead. So I think it was the U.S. Open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it was
Which
the
still
US Open.
surprises me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's kind of surprises me too, Ben. Like I feel like we have lots of talent in Canada. Lots of, you look at the size of the country compared to like Sweden or the South Africans or the Australians, very similar, and I think we have underachieved totally as over the years. If you think of myself included, I think we could have all stepped up a little bit better in the big tournaments.
Yeah,
and for some reason,
but it's also different, right? I mean, it's not really ingrained in it is ingrained to our culture, but it's not, right? It's hockey. I mean, what do they shut down the beer store or the LCBL when Canada plays in the World Championship?
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
That's true.
money wasn't funneled to. I was a big basketball player. Money wasn't funneled to basketball growing up or golf. Curling probably got more money than golf and basketball. Now, basketball
it is now.
Oh, not now. I mean,
but
now
it is now
different.
with Team Canada. Did
Yes.
they have that when you were young?
No, they didn't. And that's a great point. I mean, that's true. They've really stepped up the last bunch of years with funding, with Golf Canada and the studies they've done and
Golf Canada.
Yeah, and they've tried to follow some of the models of Sweden and Australia and seeing what they're doing, and so they put a lot more time and energy into trying to figure that out. And I think it's going to continue to get better.
Yeah, John Mills and Corey and McKinsey, they all went through that, right? They all went through that Golf Canada program, which a lot of European countries have.
Yep.
And I think it's really done wonders it's created pathways for these guys to get to college too, right? Where it helps in that whole process as well, which is, as you know, it's a whole, now there's, like I was talking to John Kikowski, who runs the Western Golf Association. I was helping them with a couple kids trying to get into the Western Junior, but they had 600 applicants for the Hudson or for the Western Junior, and they're trying to get it down to 144 players, right?
Yeah,
it's just crazy where it's gone. But at least with Golf Canada, right now they have the help of that to help them navigate which tournaments they can play in and things like that. So
no doubt about it.
I think it's really good.
I do too.
All right, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. The miracle of wine capturing a special time and place finds its essence in the Weir Cabernet Sauvignon Schweitzer Vineyard. Even before Jim Bear Dyke and Gustavo A. Gonzalez founded Mira, they dreamt of making a definitive Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon from this premier cru vineyard, first planted in 1885 in the heart of the Stag's Leap district. The Schweitzer family devotes incredible care in their stewardship of the land and the fruit it yields, making them ideal partners in Mira's quest for pure expressions of vineyard and varietal. The Weir Cabernet Sauvignon Schweitzer Vineyard. Pour yourself a miracle. All right, we're right back with Mike Weir, my hero. Not really. No, you are. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I messed with you. Ben Curtis is my hero, too. Every Canadian's my hero. So growing up, I've always wanted to ask this because you won a major. Growing up in Canada, growing up Canadian, if you could have won one major, like, in this, like, Ben, when you grew up, what tournament did you always want to win?
U.S. Open.
Okay. So for a Canadian, what would it have been?
It was the Masters. I mean, it was the 86 Masters. Watching Jack Nicklaus was what inspired me for golf. He came and he did a clinic in Sarnia at Huron Oaks in 1983, I believe. So Jack, he got to play with my head pro, Steve Bennett, in this clinic. So Jack automatically became my hero because he was my head pro's hero after this
Sarnia,
match.
Ontario. How big is Sarnia, Ontario?
It's like 70,000 people.
Yeah. You hear that, Ben? Jack Nicklaus went to Sarnia, Ontario. That's amazing.
Yeah. And so he did this outing. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. It was really cool. It was a paid outing. The golf course that I grew up on here in Oaks. It was a a company golf course. There was a company my father worked for, Polysar Company, and they bought the golf course, and so Polysar paid Jack to come in and do this outing. I think maybe the Monday of the Canadian Open or something.
I liked my story better that he came to a town of 70,000
yeah,
people.
just to come hang out and play golf.
Yeah, I guess not.
But anyways, yeah, it was the Masters because of that. I
Yeah.
mean, I was watching, it was early spring, getting out of the winter, watching the Masters on TV. And then next would be the British Open. I mean, I love the U.S. Open too, but next was, to me, is the tournament Ben won. The British Open's the World Open. It's
Well,
everybody has
Yeah.
from around the world comes together there, and the history and everything.
And also with Canada, there's a lot of British people, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of British and Scottish and Irish influence, so it means,
Yep.
it means something.
Yeah, totally. So those two.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Ben? Actually, you get actually you don't have to buy your trophy, right? You get a free replica when you win the Masters, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Ben have to buy the
Yeah,
replica?
I had to buy it. I had
Wow.
to buy the clear jug. Yeah,
How much did that set you back? A fair amount. Fair amount.
40,000. I mean,
Really?
yeah.
So think how much Tiger Woods
Wow.
has spent on trophies.
Yeah, he spent a lot of money, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And think about how I didn't
Wow.
get paid. I won the British Open. I didn't get actually paid from that check because it's an RNA event until September.
Oh wow.
I remember I went to.
He was living on
Europe.
IOUs.
I felt like it. No, I went to France, and I remember showing up in France, and Andy PD, was my caddy, and I picked him up at the British at the Open Championship. We win, and then the next time he caddied for me was there, and in September, and I offered him the job full time, but he goes, "Well, I haven't been paid yet." I go, "I know, but either have I." And somehow it made it into the press too. So they got a hold of it with the English press it was all over the news there. And I remember getting how I'm like, guys, I haven't been paid yet. I don't have $100,000 to pay Andy.
Right.
But,
because you were a rookie. That was
yeah.
your rookie year, right? Was that your
Yeah.
rookie year? Yeah. So
That
when
was
you
my
get
rookie
started,
year.
man, you don't have any money. You know.
No.
So yeah, you didn't know.
Well,
that
and I jumped, and I went from the Hooters tour to the PGA tour. I didn't go like a few. I know you played on the web. Maybe didn't you play on the web for a year or two before?
No, it was just Canadian
tour?
and Australia.
Yeah, so you were in the same boat I was, right?
Yeah.
Like you said,
Yeah.
just boom, all of a sudden, then everybody's on private jets and all.
but you couldn't pay for it.
But I couldn't pay for the caddy.
You didn't know that? You had to buy. Don't
No,
you have
I
to
had
buy
no
the
idea.
replica for the Wanamaker and U.S. Open?
Well, I know.
PGA
I don't
you
know
do.
about the U.S. Open. I know the PGA. Sean McKeel hasn't bought one yet. Remember we talked to him?
Oh, is that right? He didn't buy it?
He has a little
He
12-inch replica.
Does he
this
really?
little one.
Yeah.
And wasn't Rich Beam giving him a hard time about it?
Yeah, Rich was like, buy the damn thing.
Yeah, he won't
Yeah.
buy it. Because I think didn't he say it was like $50,000 or $60,000? It was more than the claret jug, I think.
Well, yeah, because it's bigger, right? The claret was $40,000. So
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
See, you
Wow.
you won the right, but like,
yeah.
who said it? Dave Snednowski, the golf journalist. We had him on. He's like the Masters. They give you like crystal balls for getting a birdie, don't they? And they give you like a jacket, and you get
Crystal
the trophy.
balls.
Don't you get something at the Masters for
You do
doing
get
something?
if you make an eagle, that you get
That is.
you get like a goblet or so. Some
How many of
sort
those
thing.
you got?
I've only made 1 or 2 eagles
Yeah.
in all my years there.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you got 2.
Yeah, but I did make a hole in one playing with Jack in the par 3, so you get some crystal for that. On the
You won the wrong
well.
tournament, Ben. They didn't pay you on time. You got to buy your trophy.
well, we don't get a champions dinner. It's only every 5 years, right? You get it every year. Yeah, I can still play until I'm 60. What's the Masters? Same thing, 60.
Masters is, I mean, they were trying to put a cap on it, but I mean, Bernard's still playing. He's 62 or 3. You know,
He tries to win it every year.
I know. He was leading going in 4 years ago at 59. He was, I think, 1 off the lead going in.
Yeah.
You know, he's amazing.
How amazed
So
were
okay, what happens with the green jacket? Like, do you got one at home, or does it have to stay at the club?
It stays at the
What's-
club. Yeah, I don't have one at
It
home.
stays at the
So when you leave when you win that year, you can take it with you, and then when you host, so you can have it that whole year until you host the dinner the next year, and then when you get up from the dinner, they're tapping you on the shoulder, Mr. Weir.
No way.
Jackets come back. Yeah, like basically, yeah. It's not going. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere after you host the dinner the next year.
So does the person wear it the next year?
But it's in your locker. Whenever you show up on site, it's in your locker. Like they want you to wear it, when you're around property and going for dinner and what have you. But yeah, you're not taking it off site.
Oh my god,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, I think.
But they let you do the media stuff with it, right?
During I mean, if you're doing something. During that year. Oh yeah, you have it basically for that year. Yeah, you're going around and anything on site media wise. You can.
Did they ever give you the tap? Because I guess Zach was telling me that Zach Johnson, when he won, he went to New York and he was doing the late night TV and he had jeans on or something. Yeah. Apparently they called him and said, no jeans.
Is that right?
That's what apparently he said. I don't know if he's just pulling our chain or what, but.
Yeah, I didn't get any of those calls, but I didn't do any of the, the run, the Lettermans and all the stuff back then. I just.
Did you do that?
You dropped the hockey puck.
I did drop the hockey puck the next day for the Maple Leafs Flyers.
You're a Leafs
game.
fan, I hope.
No, you're Red Wings. I grew up near Detroit.
Oh, shit. I wouldn't have agreed to this. I wouldn't have reached out to Vokey. He's a damn Canadians fan. Oh, shit.
No, he's probably rubbing it in big time with you right now.
Yeah, he's giving me a hard time. Oh, he's like, you're a Canadians fan. I'm like, screw you, Vokey. You're a Red Wing? Oh, I guess so, yeah. Sarnia, shit.
Sarnia, Dino Cicerelli, Sean Burr, they all played for
bunch
Detroit.
Of sissies,
oh, come on. How many cups do we have now?
Yeah, when's the last time they won? Well, I shouldn't say it. Toronto won in 50 years.
Yeah. No, 64, isn't it?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't live in the past, Weir. I don't live in the past. Stop living in the past.
We're only like
we're talking about your green jacket. That's whatever.
We're only like 15 years or 12 years or something.
We got a better baseball team in Toronto.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yep, you do.
And basketball too.
Yep, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm from Toronto, so that makes it better too. So Ben, did you know that Mike is right-handed?
I think I did know that. But a lot of lefty golfers are, right? I mean,
yeah,
I think Phil's righty.
He is.
He is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right-handed. He's the same.
Like my brother. Okay, so my brother was a pretty good baseman. He hit left-handed, even though he golfs right-handed. But and he throws left-handed, but he does everything else right-handed, like writing, all that stuff. So, but.
That's basically what I am, except I still, I swing a baseball bat that way. It's hockey stick. So golf, same. Your brother just went to right-handed golf, huh?
Yeah, well, he putts left-handed. He's weird. He doesn't know where he wants to do.
But, it's interesting. You sent a letter to Jack Nicklaus about switching, and he wrote you back.
He did. When I was like 13 or 14 years old. It was after that experience of Jack playing in Sarnia and, kind of I went to the Canadian Open for the first time that year at Glen Abbey, and the only lefty I saw there was a guy named Ernie Gonzalez, and nicknamed Speedy Gonzalez. And then, the only major championship winner was Bob Charles back in the 60s. And so the stigma of if you want to be a great player, you have to be right-handed was still around when I was, in the early 80s. So I wrote Jack, I just wrote a letter and sent it to, he was writing for Golf Magazine, I think, and I just sent it in care of Golf Magazine. And, I don't know how long it was, a month or a couple months later, I got this letter back now. He said, no, I believe you should stick to your natural swing. If you swing left-handed, just stick to it. The fundamentals apply the same way to a righty, to a lefty. Just stick with it. So, the years playing at the Memorial Tournament, I brought the letter to Memorial some years back and showed it to him, and he loved it. So it's a good thing.
That's not from me. That was from Barbara.
Yeah, that was my secretary sending that to you. I never saw that letter.
Have you ever played lefty, Ben?
I've hit a few shots left-handed, but I'm not very good.
Yeah.
But never played that way. No.
That's crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah.
I never knew that. I never knew that that you and Phil Mickelson were both right-handed.
Yeah. And it was just hard. I mean, it was hard to get equipment back then. I'll never forget, finding my first sand wedge, at a junior tournament. I think I was probably 14. So it was 1984. I remember winning, some sort of gift certificate in the pro shop, and going in there and seeing a left-handed sand wedge. It was the first time I had seen a sand wedge, and using my gift certificate to get this sand wedge and think it was the coolest thing ever, because I just had to chip with my pitching wedge everywhere. And so it was hard to find equipment.
But do you think that helped you? Because, I mean, now we have a mutual cohort friend or whatever, Canadian. You do too, Ben, though you're not Canadian. You can be honorary. Bob Vokey, who's legendary, in more words than one. Okay, he connected it, which could have been a good or bad thing depending on whose viewpoint it is. Do you think? And he also said you're one of the top. Didn't he say Mike Weir was one of the top 3 guys with the short game, in his opinion?
Top 3? No, he did top 3 wedge player.
Top 3 wedge players. So you were one of them. Yeah. I think you were 6.
I was what?
You were top 3, but you were no. I'm just kidding. You were top 3. Do you think that helped you learning how to chip with a pitching wedge?
I think
to a certain extent.
I think so, and I think, my game. I was never really taught technique. I just learned how to get the ball in the hole and score, and I was not a very big kid, so I was always constantly chipping, and because I was hitting 4 and 5 woods and 3 woods into par 4, so the ball would never stay on the green. It was always going over the green or short of the green, so I always had to chip. And so I think, and learning how to chip with a pitching wedge, I think there was probably something to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did either of you ever outdrive Tiger Woods?
Probably if he missed a fairway and caught the rough and my ball just chased down the middle, I would technically hit it further than him.
Yeah.
But
what about you, Ben? You said you have.
I did, yeah. He hit a 4-iron off the tee. My driver.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
What was it like back then? I mean, you guys were kind of in the height of, not the height of, but the beginning of Tiger Woods. And you were top 10 for 2 years in a row. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's pretty remarkable back then with all those players.
Well, for me, I speaking out driving, I'll never forget this, playing at the Buick Open in Michigan in the 16th hole, Ben. You remember that par 5, and kind of it's like a long bowling alley. And I hit one down the middle, and he hit it a little bit to the right, so his ball caught the rough, and my ball ran out there to 300 yards, where his ball almost flew to 300 yards, and so we were about even. And we're waiting for the green to clear, because I'm thinking if I smash this 3-wood, I might be able to get it to the front. It's 270 yards, and maybe if I could land this 250 and it'll chase up the front. So we're waiting, and Tiger and I are talking, and I'm kind of over by his ball in the rough, and we're talking, waiting for the green to clear, and I kind of glanced down at his ball in the rough, and this thing's sitting down, it's not sitting well. So we're talking. I'm wondering why he's not taking an 8-iron out and saying, "Weirdly, I'm just going to play it down the fairway and get his wedge," and he's waiting as well. So I go back, and he hits first, because I did get it past him by a couple of yards, and I can see that he's got this, low lofted iron, like a 2-iron or 3-iron. I'm thinking, there's just no way out of this lie he can get this thing. And this thing came out, and it was in the clouds. This ball was so high out of this lie, I couldn't believe it. And it landed, 15 yards short of the green, landed 255 or 60 out of this horrible lie, bounced up there to 12 feet, and he made eagle. And it was one of the best shots I've ever seen. I mean, it was incredible. Ben and I would have been literally hitting a 8-iron or a 7-iron and trying to chase it down there to leave ourselves 100 yards, and that's just the stuff he could do. It was just incredible. And being around Firestone here, we've seen the shot on 18, the pitching wedge from 185 yards that he hits to pass the hole out of the rough, and he could do stuff that was just incredible.
Remember Glen Abbey out of the bunker?
Glen Abbey, a 7-iron from 200 yards, back then.
Out of a bunker?
Yeah, out of the bunker.
Over water, too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was all over the water, the back right pin. Just flagged it. So it was fun to be, to play with them, to compete against them, and, phenomenal to watch. You just tried not to get too involved in watching, because you could just you could feel small. Because it was that impressive. You just had to kind of stick to your own game.
Yeah.
At least that's the way I looked at Ben. How about you when you play with them?
Yeah, I mean, same thing. I mean, obviously there was a big buzz. I actually never played with him in competition. I played practice rounds,
Oh, really?
but never got paired with. He was in front of me and behind me, I would say 10 to 12 times, but never in the same group. But I did play several because I was with Hank Haney, he was with him as well, so we got to see him a little bit and we'd play a little bit. But yeah, I actually talked to him a little bit about actually at Firestone about putting one time, and I asked him, I feel like I'm a good putter, but I said, I know you're, one of the best of all time. And I said, I've been told not to grip it so tight. That's my problem. But every time I do, I actually lose my feel. I lose my speed in that. And I asked him about it, and I go, how do you grip it? He goes, I grip it hard too, real tight. I don't know if he did or he was just telling me that. but I'm like, me too. I said, screw it. I'm going with it. I'm just gripping it hard because I always felt like I could lock my wrist in, right? My fault was I'd let the left hand would break down, but if I felt like I had a death grip on there, then I could just lock everything in.
Yeah.
And so I always felt like I putted my best that way. So, but that's, yeah. So, yeah. So that's cool. My Tiger. But obviously there was a big buzz when he played, right? I mean, when he was there, you could feel it. You could, obviously the energy was there. So,
yeah.
And if he was a group, he didn't want to be I always felt like you didn't want to be the group in front. Group behind, it was okay. Group in front, as you're getting ready to hit, everybody's running up. Right?
Oh, yeah. That's so true.
You just have to tune that out after some point, right?
Totally.
Because at least it's in masses. It's not just one or two people. But anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So, Mike, any desires for President's Cup captain? Have you been in talks with that?
Question.
I know you played quite a few of those, but I don't know if that's on the radar with you or not.
Oh yeah, I'd love to be. I'd love to be the captain.
Okay.
It's this next year in 22, it's in Charlotte, but then in 24, it's back in Montreal. So that'd be.
There you go.
If I get the nod there, it'd be a thrill.
Should be a no-brainer.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. I hope.
In my opinion, so.
I hope so. I mean, I'd love to do it.
Yeah. And you guys did a really good job with you and Ernie Els and that group. I mean,
yeah, the guys almost got it done.
Who would have thought? No offense. I mean, when you look at it on paper.
Yeah, on paper there it was.
Man.
But the guys showed up, and now they're getting confidence. The Abe Answers of the world, and we've got some good young guns, Joaquin Neiman, and bunch of guys that can really play well, and I think by a couple years from now they're going to be really world-class players.
Yeah. How difficult is it to put together a President Cup team when you have so many different cultural differences? I mean, you've got Japanese, you've got Chilean, you've got Canadian, you've got.
It's a big challenge compared to even the Ryder Cup. You think of the European team. I mean, yet they're from different countries, but they're playing for Europe, and they all kind of know each other, and a lot of them play together on the European tour, and it's been around a long time where, there's some even bigger cultural differences with the international team, and a lot of the guys don't know each other as well, and they're not playing a lot of practice rounds together, but the last few years they are. There's more camaraderie, and guys are trying to play more practice rounds, get to know one another, and Nick Price was a big part of that, kind of getting that going, and Ernie kind of brought it even further along, and there's a good buzz with the guys now, and good camaraderie with the whole team.
Cool.
So
you think that's good,
awesome.
Ben? I think we'll do some bonus questions. So we're gonna stick around with Mike for a couple more minutes, but Ben, Mike, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Don't thank me. Well, we got to thank Mike.
I know. Well, I know, but you're not here. That's it's really weird. I think I'm going to lie in bed tonight and this is just weird. But anyway, remember to subscribe, rate, and review. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and follow Ben Curtis' hair account too if he has one. Mike, best of luck with you with this tournament.
Thanks.
And thanks for listening, watching, and Ben, thanks for being you.
Yeah, thanks for dialing me in.
Yeah.